And October 25th for us is some form of it's a very key date, and I'm hesitant to say that there will be an actual event, but it may be a culmination of a whole series of events that lead up to that. But there's a very sharp turn in the language that occurs on that date. And one way we could liken it would be the sharp turn in language that occurred in, say, the Battle of Britain, when all of a sudden the British cities were being actively bombed by the Germans. Prior to that, there were all kinds of problems. The war was an issue, but there was their personal. The people of London, for instance, the battle of the air battle there, they were not at personal risk until the bombing campaign started, and from that point on, their lives were no longer the same. Now, we think that there's some similar sort of language in the sense of an emotional turn that will occur on the 25th of October, and it'll take us 10 days to digest. So we'll be in that sort of frame of mind for 10 days. Now, another way to look at it might be in a similar vein to the Cuban Missile Crisis, because that was a period of time where, I think for 6 days actually, everybody just sort of held their breath, and we're all in the same frame of mind waiting to see if in fact America and Russia would go to war, nuclear war likely, over Cuba. So we may be in a collective period of 10 and a half days where everybody's going to just kind of wonder how it's going to come out and so on. We think that the resolution on that, the point that it breaks, will be around November 4th or November 5th, and from then on we go into this jagged little period of time and for a little bit. And then we have a context change coming up in December. All of this is supported, if you will, or propelled by the emotional angst and anxiety that's building around the U.S. dollar. And it'll hit the masses, I think, around October 25th, but I don't know that impact of the dollar's fragility and its pending death, I don't know if that's the emotional trigger for what we see from the 25th on. It unfortunately might be a situation of diverting the energy. Got this friend of mine, Bob Hitt, who runs astroecon.com. Now, Bob does a forecast for the market based on astrology stuff, and he noticed an effect that there was astro, for instance, that would say the market's supposed to go down on this particular day, and it doesn't go down on that day. But what he did notice was that there might be some kind of a major headline-grabbing shooting instance, as an example. So you may have someone come and shoot up a campus. A lot of people die and this kind of thing, terror and so on. It lasts a day and it sort of fades out. And it was on the day that he had forecast for the markets to go down, and instead on that day the markets just sort of ambled along. And so he came up with this theory that they're actively diverting that energy and putting it over into these other more horrific ways in order to, if you will, divert that energy away from the market level of activity. And so we might be looking at something like that, where maybe if there were going to, let me put it this way, if there ever was a signature in our work that suggested that there was a possibility of a false flag, diversionary kind of an attack or effort from the powers that be, I would have to peg it as occurring on October 25th, within a day either side perhaps, because of the sudden shift that we get into this building tension language.